Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm host Chris Dices, and we're here with the review for Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls V for the Nintendo Switch. We never thought this game would come to a Nintendo console, but it looks like it finally has. And my thoughts and the review is we're not going to be peddling over the same ground about Skyrim and all the features and that. We're going to be talking about little differences here and there, the Legend of Zelda tie-in, and the motion controls and all the things that makes it different from the other versions. But we'll skim through what Skyrim is all about. So, let's get into the review right now. So, after many years, we finally have Skyrim on a Nintendo console, or Elder Scrolls, after so long. And I think that's just a great thing for generally the Nintendo Switch and for everyone who sort of wanted these type of games. And so for those who do live in a cave, the story of Skyrim is basically you find out pretty early on in the main storyline that you are a dragonborn who can, kill dragons and absorb their souls. And in the world of Skyrim is filled with lots of characters, towns, cities, missions, stories, and ancient tales going back hundreds of years. With the increasing roaming dragons coming back from an era where people thought it was myth and legend and weren't true, they have returned to cause havoc. Of course, the main enemy dragon, who we won't reveal based on spoilers or for Nintendo fans who haven't played Skyrim. The storyline is a real treat. The music is unbelievable. In terms of the Dragonborn theme is probably very, very popular, and gaming culture and things like that. I took an arrow to the knee. Probably you remember that from years ago. And replaying through it a third time after the PS3 version and the PS4 version, which is the special edition version, I felt quite strange about it. I'm enjoying it a lot. Now, I will talk about the different modes, because we all know about the storyline of Skyrim, and in the game you have crafting and enchanting weapons and all sorts of those sort of systems that you know of. You know that you can turn into a vampire and a werewolf and things like that. And yes, it's got all 3 downloadable content expansion packs. So you can build homes and go on specific missions with against vampires or with them and stuff like that. So how does the Switch version come up? I think graphics wise, it does a fine job. It is around 720p for the handheld mode that I've discovered, which is great. I will notice that just sometimes when you're looking out into the distance in Skyrim, you do notice that some of the graphics are just a little bit funny. And to be honest, I didn't really notice it too much. So when you walk towards that distance, it all comes up good again. But yeah, it looked a little bit fake from a distance away, so the draw distance in the game might have some limitations, which will probably be much better in the PS4 version or the Xbox One. Now, the HD motion controls is interesting. I found that swinging the sword was a little funny at times, especially when things get busy with multiple enemies. The drawing the bow was quite cool, but I think we might have to bring out the ugly word gimmick. I think for some that would feel like it's not particularly well done, I think, with the bow and arrow, but maybe it will take a bit of time and practice for me. During the lockpicks was interesting motion, and with the HD rumbles, and I think it might even give you a bit of an advantage at times if you're good at that lockpicking area of the game. In portable mode, in handheld mode, it works brilliantly. It feels fantastic to play Skyrim on the go. It is a really great pleasure to be able to, go outside and play Skyrim and do things like that. And I think that's the draw card. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is an inferior port." In terms of graphics and that, possibly yes, it is. But in exchange, you get the portable version, and you also get the Legend of Zelda tie-ins, which is the other big one. So in handheld mode, it works fine. The Legend of Zelda tie-ins with the Master Sword and that, the armor's quite good. It's got a good rating on it. The Master Sword weapon is not particularly powerful, but I'm going to work out how to enchant it and how to upgrade it, if it's even possible. And the third piece is the Hyrule Shield, which looks beautiful in Skyrim. It does kind of stand out a little bit because it's quite colourful, but I think it's a fine look on my little guy, who for the third or fourth run through I'm playing Skyrim yet again. But overall, I think the experience was fantastic. Skyrim is still a brilliant game to play. Love the music, the atmosphere, the environments, running through different towns and cities and exploring and finding things. It's definitely a different vibe from Breath of the Wild. It's much more missions and quests and go from dot point to dot point. But there's still a lot of things to discover. It's not a Breath of the Wild, but I think we can appreciate both of those games for very different reasons, and that's why open world games, I think, especially in the last 5 years, are becoming more varied in how they approach open world games and how the player will go out and achieve their goals. So that's all I've got to say about Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch. Of course, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. So we'll head back to the Nintendo Ninja News desk to find out what my final score was. So, what do I give Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch out of 10? I'm going to be controversial and actually give it a 10 out of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10 because, personally, I still think it's a brilliant game. The music is still the same, the gameplay, you're getting the full experience on the Switch itself. And for me personally, the portability is probably more important than the graphics. This is still the special edition from last year's model, which was released on the PS4 and Xbox One. So for me, the portability, the way you use the Joy-Cons, the motion hitting is a bit of a novelty add-on to it, I feel. But some people get a kick out of swinging the sword and slaying dragons and that. And just the portability, the fact that it's the full game with the full download content, and it still holds up to this day as a fantastic game, and that's why a lot of people will buy it. A lot of Nintendo fans will buy it, and that's why I would give it a 10 out of 10 with Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey for this year. Now, graphic-wise, I don't feel like it's such a big deal. So, that is the review, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And that's about it for me. So, that's it for me, and I shall see you next time.